Hey, it's Josh Vergara from Android Authority. What's going on, everybody? And here we go again with reasons to buy or pass, this time talking about the LG G2. Now we do have to give the LG G2 a lot of props for having 0.2 more inches on what is otherwise considered a 5-inch screen. It does fall under the 5-inch screen category pretty much, but it is better than a lot of the ones out there by a stretch, quite literally. After all, around the screen there is basically no bezel, which makes it look really attractive and is just all screen on the front. Now, why is there no bezel almost around the screen? Well, that is because the sides of the phone don't have a button layout, allowing for a little bit more space to be freed up. And that button layout has been brought to the back of the phone to be controlled by basically your index finger. This is a bit of innovation and uniqueness that the G2 can boast. And after a day or two, it actually works really well and becomes as natural as any other button layout. In terms of power, the Snapdragon 800 is what powers the LG G2, and it definitely does it justice. The G2 was one of the first phones to sport what is now considered the best processing package available. And then further underneath the surface, you do have a pretty full-featured software suite, as the Optimus UI comes with a pretty incredible amount of extras, allowing for a very diverse experience. The battery life is also very good on here, as the Snapdragon 800 provides some power consumption optimization, and thus, in a lot of cases, I have found that the G2 can go for about almost 2 days. And finally, in the camera, the G2 comes with the first of what is likely going to be many cameras with optical image stabilization. And when we come to the reasons to pass on the G2, we start off with the button layout. Now, while the number of people who got used to the index finger layout greatly outweighs the number of people who didn't, some did say they just don't like the placement. In the end, probably some people just don't enjoy change. As for the material choice, it's glossy plastic that you get here, and while it does work really well for the G2, it also makes it a bit of a fingerprint magnet, and we also wouldn't blame anyone just flat out sick of glossy plastic. The Optimus UI does come with many features, but it is also pretty in your face about it. It also isn't the best looking UI out there, mostly because of that fact. After all, look at the notification shade, for example. You bring that down and there's so much space already taken up by a power widget. In the hardware department, you do have a lack of expandable storage here because the body is already so thin, they probably couldn't fit it in there. But having expandable storage is a plus, and that's not something you get here. And finally, when it comes to the camera, this is mostly a personal gripe, but while the camera does provide a lot of great pictures and has optical image stabilization, I did find the app to be rather slow. I took this particular phone out to a concert and I had a pretty hard time trying to get this thing to focus in time, or even at all in some cases. So while the camera app is pretty full-featured and it does provide a decent experience, it can be quite slow, and if you need fast pictures, this might not be the best one out there for you. And so there you have it for the reasons to buy or pass on the LG G2. As always, thank you guys very much for watching, and remember, if you want more information on the G2 than just the quickfire reasons that we've given you here, then make sure you head on over to the LG G2 review and all of our comparison coverage on it. After that, make sure you drop us likes on our videos and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, because we are Android Authority, your source for all things Android.